today we are joined by my lovely sister-in-law Emma, who lives in Dubai with her family. We just want to go over some tips and advice about life abroad and what it's like moving country with a child, sort of things. So we're going to start off with a little bit about Emma, her family and her birth story, because this is a podcast about mum. So I think any guest that we get on, Emma's our first guest, we want to talk a little bit about birth story because we think that's very important. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about your family, your birth story, just a bit of an intro into like who you are?
Yeah, sure. I'm Emma, Abigail's sister-in-law. My husband is Joe. I've got Phoebe, who's just turned 2. And yeah, we live in Dubai, but I'll start from the beginning, my birth story. Pretty, well, no, not straightforward actually. I was going to say straightforward, the actual birth wasn't too bad, but the lead up to that. So yeah, went for like, I think, a growth scan, I think it's 16 weeks, one where they tell you the gender. And she was like measuring small, so absolute fear of God sent into us basically. Went back I think like the next week or a couple of days, can't remember exactly, to see a consultant, and honestly like worst experience of my life. Like she was awful, like how someone like that is working in that role, I'm not too sure, but yeah, absolutely like fear sent through us, like, you know, worst outcomes started with that. Just left us absolutely petrified, and like it's quite still early on in the pregnancy, but you've still got a way to go to be stressing for so much of your pregnancy, and just left with like so much uncertainty, and obviously being our first as well, like you don't really know what to expect anyway, so let alone having that thrown into the mix. But luckily we had like a great midwife, and then we changed consultant. So yeah, I had to go I think like once every 2 weeks for scans for the rest of the pregnancy, and like monitoring twice a week. So that was quite full on, yeah. But I was quite lucky because obviously employers here have to like let you go to every appointment. So luckily they was quite flexible, and like Joe's work were really flexible, so he came to pretty much every appointment with me, which was really lucky because you know most people wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have to go on your own or try and find someone. So yeah, that kind of just went on, and we'd get like little updates, like she was always measuring small, and they were just trying to figure out why. The consultant we had second was really nice, and she kind of did reassure us that she thought, oh, she's just a small baby, like you might just make small babies because they've got nothing to care to because they didn't have one before. So yeah, I got kind of warned about like going into labour, how it could stress her out. It would be a bit risky, but they weren't kind of telling me to have a C-section. They just obviously have to make you aware. And I kind of was a bit like, oh, I think I'd rather go down the route of a C-section, but I don't know if it was I didn't have the confidence to be like, that's what I want to do. So I didn't actually make that decision. They induced me at like 35 or 36 weeks. Obviously like my body was not ready to do anything, like nothing happened. And I kind of started thinking, oh, like she's not ready to go through that, let alone being small. So they wanted to basically induce me again, and I was just like at this point.
Sorry to pause you, but that baffles me that they've spent so long telling you that labour's going to be stressful for a baby, and then they force you into an induction 4 weeks early. You can't stress the baby out because she's really But here's 4 different types of inductions, and fucking deal with it.
Also, like as they're doing,
how does that make sense?
Yeah, I was literally like on the wall, like the ward before you go into the proper labour ward, like when you get the inductions, and like I'm hearing, because the first one, I don't think it normally happens on the first one, but then if you have another one, it can then happen so quickly that they then have to give you another drug to slow down labour, and I could hear it happening quite a lot. So I'm laying there thinking like, no, like.
But you've got to keep calm.
Yeah, you already have to gear yourself up probably for the whole. Well, I definitely did for like giving birth, stressed me out. And then you're now listening to people go through it for longer than probably a lot of people would have, because I had to go in. And then I just said to Joe, I was like, do you know what? Like the most I got was like period pains, and they were like, oh, it's mild contractions, but then it like went after a few hours.
Yeah.
So I was just like, she's not ready to go through that. I don't then want to force her into this extreme like contractions. Then I have to slow it down, and it's just a bit like. So then I just made the decision. They kind of did help me. They said like it's an option at that point to have a C-section, because I was just like, I need to take matters. I felt like I just needed to take matters into my own hands. I was getting really stressed, and by that point, all the work I'd done to build myself up to giving birth had kind of just gone.
Yep.
So I was just like, do you know what? I'm just gonna have a C-section, know when it's gonna happen, and like, yeah, because also having the induction, like I thought I've really struggled with that, and I thought if I'm struggling with that, birth is nothing compared to that. It's way worse. Yeah. So yeah, I think had I not had an induction, I would have probably gone into, like, if I went into labour myself and gave birth, I wouldn't have had much of a comparison, because I'd had that and that I found that really painful, which it probably wasn't, but I was just,
I think
in my head,
it would have
just
actually found
uncomfortable.
labour easier than the induction. Yeah, because that's natural for your body.
Yeah.
Forced.
And I was very much like in my head about that. Like, even I see so much on like social media about women saying like, listen to your bodies. Like inductions, I know so many people that have inductions, but ultimately in my head, I know obviously it's probably dangerous to go that far over, but if my body and the baby's not ready to do it, like, in my head, I don't know the science, but like, does that not create more complications because you're forcing your body to do something that's not ready?
I was
Yeah.
there for 4 days and nothing was happening.
Yeah.
Apart from my body was basically shutting down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they were like, we've got to get this baby out.
And then everything just ends up such an emergency, a rush, and it's stressful enough for giving birth, and then it's just all this unnecessary, and it's just it's always woulda, shoulda, coulda. But you kind of do trust, especially when it's your first. You kind of trust the medical professionals to do what they do. But
they instill so much fear as well and panic that you end up having the C-section, but you end up thinking that that's been your choice. To have it. Like when obviously mine was an emergency, but they end up making you think that, oh well, I chose a C-section.
I made that.
I didn't choose to have a C-section. They've just basically fear-mongered you into believing that you've made a choice on you having that.
And I think it probably would have been a different experience for you. I personally think you made the right decision. Like, you trusted yourself. And like obviously you made the right decision. Like, it was the right decision at the time of the information you had. So of course you did, but imagine how different it could have been if, like, although she was measuring small, if that first initial consultant hadn't put that fear into you about labour. Because I was going into labour, if they'd have told me like your baby's probably going to get stressed out during labour, I'd have been really, really scared going into it. And like going into labour, like, that is a very intense process. So going into that fear, like that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
But telling you that at 16 weeks.
I mean, what they actually said was like, the likelihood of her being like not making it basically is what she told me the first thing. That was worst case scenario. So in my head I was like, so you told me worst case. She didn't say it's worst case scenario, but then she led on to like, oh, but it could just be this. Like, don't try and make light of it. You just told me the absolute worst thing anyone can hear, and you're trying to just carry on. And I'm there thinking like, not even then feeling comfortable enough to just like let myself cry and just be and I'm trying to fight it, and I'm like, why am I trying to fight this? Like, it was just it was
the worst thing is pregnant person could be told that your baby might not make it.
But then, by the way, we've got to be really, really quick because we've only got half an hour appointment until we see the next.
Right, Emma, shut up.
Jess likes to role play.
So, by the way, this is really bad news. Can you fuck off now? The next one, you're just expected to leave and just get in your car and be like.
Well, the midwife came out, and like I say, like that midwife, we had her the whole way through then, and she was just a godsend, like she honestly was. And she came out of the room with us after that first appointment, and we were just a bit like, well, and she was like, she actually said, she's like, I'm so sorry that appointment just went like that. She was like, you should have been taken into another room and like not have therapy, but speak to a professional. No, but like, you shouldn't be just ushered out of that room and sent on your way, which we were. You should then be spoken to and like, actually by a professional that deals with that. Like, so it wasn't just that, it was just the culmination of like all these things that just are probably happening all the time, which is incredibly sad.
It just shows
and
the system.
Exactly.
It's just they don't have the staff, they don't have the budget because it's just been so mishandled, and then it's people like you, and like it may, in the grand scheme of things, that may seem minor, but it's the little things like that that add up. If that's happening to however many people, like how is that affecting women's
Also, that's making that midwife's job harder, because ultimately that's probably not her job to give like
advice
like that, but she probably feels like if she's working with that consultant day in day out, which she was, she's having to then come out of the room and try and excuse that person's behaviour. That's not her job. Like, that is not her job.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's probably if she was with you that whole journey, she's obviously seen the added stress that just that
and I
one
think
conversation
it
has
totally changed. We had a different consultant the next time, totally different experience. Like, just so lovely, so like someone that should be in that job, compassionate, friendly, made you feel relaxed, and from that moment on, there was always a bit of like worry in my head, but she put us at ease so much that it actually wasn't that, because I thought, well, I mean, God knows what would have happened if we carried on being that stressed throughout pregnancy, it's just...
So the thing is, people have to go back to work after these appointments.
Backlogged on to working at home, like, like nothing's happened.
And this is another thing that's just not spoken about with boys and stuff. It's like you choose to have a baby, it's like you're a burden on the fucking company. Well, no, we're actually going through some deep shit, actually. There's nothing can be like, for my job, I don't care about his laptop that he didn't get yesterday. Like, I've got serious shit going on.
And not to mention, if you don't have babies, you won't have any future employees. Everyone here's been birthed by a woman.
So he's so true.
So how long were you and Joe together, like before you had Phoebe? I can't know.
So me and Joe met, like, he's basically DJ and co-show one. I used to keep that place in business, so I was there quite a lot.
You might have seen me there.
Probably.
That was how you met.
So we met that way, and then we kind of just we weren't even together, we just like had a little thing. And then went our separate ways. Like, I went and did other stuff, he worked in Vegas, all the rest of it. And then it
just
kind
worked
of,
in Vegas.
and then just like kind of right timing. We both like were single, and then he like DM'd me, and I took a few days to reply. Thought, time's ticking, probably should message you back actually. They just started, went out on some dates, and that was it really. It was quite easy because we kind of knew each other. We spoke on and off throughout the years. And then, so he then bought his flat in Shenfield. I moved in pretty soon. And then, I think we were together. I mean, we've literally been together it must be 3 years. Just over 3 years. We've done everything quite quickly.
You were together about a year, weren't you, before you left?
We got together in January. Then I got pregnant in like, I don't know, whenever, New Year, October actually, and then had Phoebe. Then so I've been together a couple of years. I've done a lot in that couple of years.
A wedding in that time as well.
We literally like when I was in years basically before we moved. So
I hope my partner watches this episode.
Get busy.
Right. Fix bit there. Maybe I'm not ready for that.
So you was obviously due to go back. You was working at Urban Outfitters, is that right?
That's it, So I was doing merchandising, which I didn't love. At my first company, I used to work for Office Shoots, and I like absolutely loved it. But then just like circumstances, I wanted to like work a bit more from home, wanted more money, so I moved. I wouldn't say I loved my job there as much as I did before, so I kind of started falling out of love with it a bit. Then got pregnant, and I kind of in my head I was like, I know I've got to go back to work, these days it's pretty tricky like not to. But I wanted to go back like part-time. So once I had Phoebe, and I kind of tried to stay in contact with like HR and stuff. Bear in mind, when I left, like my head of didn't even say anything to me. No one congratulated me after I had her. I didn't hear anything from the people I was working with. So that also in my head was like, I don't want to then go back to work and all these people are like, how is she? I'm like, you didn't care. You didn't care. That was started stressing me out quite early on. I was like, I really don't want to go back there. So kind of like weighing up options and stuff. So then, I had a meeting with them and basically just explained that I'd like to go back, have Fridays off. We'd worked out like she'd go to nursery. My mum would have had her one day. So had like that kind of thing sorted for like 4 days. And Fridays were always quite quiet for me as well. So I was thinking in my head, like, I was already thinking like how I could manage it, like even though really I shouldn't have been. But I was like, I'm going in with these points, like. So went in with HR, and she was like, right, okay, like, well, basically the steps are that they write it all down, send it to like my head of department, and then they'll get back to me within how long. They got back to me, called me in for a meeting, and it was just like a no. It was like, no, we can't do that for you. You're needed. this is the fun thing, they actually said that I could have every other Friday off. And I said, well, if you need me one Friday and you don't need me the next Friday, then how important is that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can deal with me without being there. And then also I was like, that doesn't help me because I'm going to have to pay for nursery every Friday, but she only goes every other Friday. Because there was no one to look after her on a Friday because my mum was already looking after like one of her other grandkids. So I was like, that literally doesn't help me whatsoever. You're making it feel like, well, we're going to let you do this. Well, it's not really beneficial, is it? No. And you're still going to doctor my pay for it. So, you know, so I was just like, right. I kind of set the scene that I was like, well, that's not going to work for me, but I'll go away and obviously have to think about it. And then, I just was like, that's not going to work. What are we going to do? And then the conversations obviously started to come up about moving to Dubai. So we basically just got the wheels in motion with that. And I think by about the March, Joe got his job. Well, he was actually moving to Bahrain, but that's another story for another day. He got a job abroad, and I then handed my notice in, and then was obviously asked to pay back a lot of money, which I didn't.
No, didn't you? No. I love that.
Yeah,
fuck you.
Because don't come after me. Because basically the rule was that I'd obviously had enhanced maternity pay, so you'd have to go to only pay back half. You'd have to go back for a minimum of 6 months, and to not have to pay back anything was go back for a year. So I didn't obviously go back at all. So
but they couldn't give you a bloody Friday off.
No, so they left me with like no choice.
They
didn't try to accommodate whatsoever.
No, they weren't accommodating, and even I was like, what about another day of the week? Like, you know, but it was just a no. And luckily they owed me a lot of holidays, so I think it cut the cost by about 50%. And I just said to them, like, Joe was like, we'll say to them, like, I don't afford to pay back something silly like 50 quid a week, so however a month, so however long that takes is what I'm willing to set up. And then I basically sent that email. I think they probably emailed me back, and I just never contacted them again.
Fair, right that.
And I just thought, do you know what?
They disrespected you.
It does leave a bit of a sour taste in your mouth, and I thought, I'm not going to bend back for a company that actually did not care about my pregnancy, the birth of my child, like. So I just didn't go back.
Was that your main reason for moving, more the financial
No,
side?
I think me and Joe both had it in there. So I did Camp America way back.
Oh, really?
He worked,
That's cool.
He obviously worked in Vegas for a bit. So we both
I
had
just
those kind of
Camp Rock though. I just picture you going,
we both obviously like had it in us and always spoke about like moving abroad, like giving it a go. And at that point in our life, we were just like, this is the perfect time. Like we had a 1-bed flat at the time, and we was like, you know, at some point we need to probably like, we want to move out and buy a house. Obviously, I was on maternity leave and didn't really want to go back. And luckily, like, Joe does a job where he can get jobs out there. So it's quite easy, like, it's quantity surveyor, so there's lots of building out there. Phoebe wasn't in school, so didn't have that tie. So it was just perfect timing for us, really. Like, we were just like, it's kind of now or never. We didn't want to, she's so young that she basically doesn't really know where she's waking up. Just thought the timing was right, so just go for it. And if it didn't work out,
in Tesco, woke up in Dubai.
I remember when you came around and told us, and I started looking into moving to I want to go as well. I was so jealous. I was so excited for you, but like, I was literally like, I want to do it. How can we go?
It's definitely perfect timing though, wasn't it, for you? I think you just know sometimes. Let's just, but you've got nothing to do.
Because if we'd left it any longer, we would have regretted not doing it. We just said, like, if we go and we hate it, there's absolutely nothing stopping us coming back at all.
I know so many people that have done it, not one person's come back.
Because Joe's a quantity surveyor,
I don't blame
that
him.
right?
Yeah,
so there's
he's
jobs available everywhere for him, and he's very fortunate. Like, you could get a job in pretty much any country, really. He's good at his job, like, he knows what he's talking about. So you're lucky in that sense.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I mean, we're going to hear more about it anyway. But how do you feel like has it affected your relationship? It might not have. You might have blossomed.
Yeah,
what have been the changes for you guys?
I think it's actually like brought us closer together. We're quite good at like communicating anyway, but we literally only have each other. So if that goes to shit, then we really are done, really. I think we're quite lucky. Like enjoy each other's company most of the time. And I think we're out. I don't want to say we're out of the trenches, but I think had we have done it when Phoebe was like newborn, totally different story because we were at each other in those first few months, and I just think that it wouldn't have gone down so well. But yeah, ultimately we're the only people, we moved out there having only each other, and that's it. So that actually did bring us quite close together. And yeah, we meet people through his work and all of that. So yeah, I think it's been good for our relationship, I think. Like,
not to mention the extra vitamin D is probably.
Yeah, exactly. And like, moving abroad is stressful, but I honestly, like, we might have been lucky that it wasn't that much of a stressful move for us. But I think going through the process of like having to buy a house and do all of that kind of thing and being here, we would have been a lot more stressed and been at each other a lot more. I think it's quite a slow pace of life, I guess. Like, because we're on our own, there's no pressure to be like, oh, we've got to see this person this weekend, like, which is absolutely lovely, and like, I do miss that. But we're kind of just on our own little time scale. Do you know what I mean? We've got no one interfering. It's just us, and it's quite nice. Like, yeah,
love that.
Yeah.
Any tips for anyone that's potentially going to make a move, like just juggling? I don't know. You decided to stay at home. How do you manage a home on your own? Because that's not spoken about.
Yeah, so I do send Phoebe now from January. So me and Phoebe moved out in September. From the first 2 months, obviously, I was just so busy sorting out the house and kind of just getting to grips with life out there and getting used to all the different bits. But then from January, she goes nursery 3 mornings a week.
Oh, nice.
So it's just a few hours, but that we don't have any help at home. Like, we don't have a cleaner or anything like that. So I just use that time to kind of like get all the house stuff sorted. Again, Joe doesn't leave super early for work, so he's there in the morning helping out with getting her ready or whatever, and then he's home by 5 or whatever. So quite early, he's there for like the evening bit. So I think there was a time he was working at Abi's RB and he was leaving at the crack of dawn and wasn't getting back till like just before Phoebe went to bed, and that was really tough. That. He wasn't happy in work. I was stressed at home, but trying to support him because he wasn't happy, and that was really quite difficult. So I think now we've got a good balance. He's got a job a lot closer to home. Phoebe's obviously in nursery a few days. So yeah, that's how I manage it basically with nursery, because without that, the days are long, and like, I love being her mum, but you know, it's a lonely place to be sometimes.
It's not like you've got this massive group of friends like you do.
No, exactly.
And
when it's too hot, I'm not going over the park and seeing other people, which when it's cooler, obviously I'm doing that. So yeah, I think that's the way I cope basically. Nursery and Joe not working super long hours is. So yeah, but obviously that isn't the case for everyone, and the nanny culture out there is like super normal. Like, loads of people have help at home. So
is everyone nice out there? Like, is it just I don't know, because I've never been.
Yeah.
You know, when you've got an idea of how somewhere is in your head, I just feel like from videos I've seen, I feel like the nurseries are so much better. Just everything seems to be a little bit safer.
Do you want to explain that complex maybe?
Yeah, so I live in like a community that's gated, so it's a lot of families, which helps massively with meeting people. So yeah, where we live, we have there's like a little, it's called a souk, but it's basically like a mini shopping centre. We've got like swimming pools, playgrounds, gyms, all of that kind of stuff where we live. Don't get me wrong, rent's expensive, but we have that where we live, which again is like a massive help, because I can walk 2 minutes and take it to the pool or wherever. So yeah, that helps, and it helps that we live in the kind of community where it's quite family orientated. So we've met so many like friends and stuff like that, and Phoebe gets to socialise with those kids. So yeah, that massively helps. And that is just a normal setup out there. Like, most people do live in communities. Unless
I've
you're
seen that there's
like
lots
more
of little, like,
Emiratis,
villa complexes or little housing, but like, it's not like estates here. It's like literally, there's the swimming pool, then you've got this gym bit, and
And most of the people on the complex in the same position as you, they've come from other countries to work there.
Yeah.
Is it not locals?
No, I don't know many locals that live in like places like I live. Yeah, they'll live in like, they don't always live in communities, they'll just live like on normal roads or whatever. So yeah, it's mainly expats, I'd say,
So how do you think as well the move affected? I know Phoebe was only little when you went, and obviously we were talking earlier about the time difference. How would you say it's affected Phoebe? I mean, I personally, I'd agree with that, and I've said this to you many times. She's thriving. She's a Dubai girl through and through. She's thriving out there. But like, how was it a transition? How do you think it affected Phoebe initially?
Yeah, I think, like I said, like we did it probably at the right age. She wasn't super young, so went in like proper trenches, but she also wasn't as old as she is now, where I think she'd be a bit more aware. And honestly, like I FaceTime my family like all the time and that kind of thing. Yeah, honestly, I don't think she would have known where she is, and it's so much easier parenting out there. Like I think that's quite important to say. Like I find it so much easier. Yeah, I don't have as much help, but then there's so much more to do with her. Like you know, I can take it. The weather's quite consistent. I can take her to the park and take her swimming. There's so many like
that's
good
the
soft
problem. As soon as it rains
plays.
here, you're bugging
Yeah, like I have noticed that in the summer. Like the options when the weather isn't so great are there's not a lot. Maybe because I don't know all the little hacks and stuff like that. But there's so many like soft plays, and again like everyone's really friendly. So you go to like soft play, you end up talking because everyone's in the same position, which is quite nice. So yeah, I think she's like you say, I would say she's thriving. Like she started nursery, which she absolutely loves, and you know, nursery saves obviously a lot of people, especially here, and like you've got to work full time. But the fact that I get to just put her in just for a few mornings, I feel like that's quite a nice balance because I'm not having to leave her all day. But I do get some time to myself, and she's also like just developed so much more than what I could have probably taught her at home, you know. So yeah, I think the opportunities for kids out there is like great. And
also you mentioned to me the other day about, because obviously we went out in London the other day, and like Phoebe was not used to not being able to just run off.
Yeah, she hates it. She hates the run. That's in Dubai.
In Dubai, because like you're on this complex, she can just run around wherever she wants.
Yeah,
like so much
just
safer
walk, and
for her.
yeah. I think that's why she's the way she's. Like if I take her out the pram, she won't dart off because she's so used to having that freedom. Whereas I think like people are left with no choice here. Like it's not that safe. So like you have to get them strapped in the pram all the time or whatever else. So yeah, having that freedom again, like that is why I find it easy to parent, because it's a bit more relaxed. You know, I'm not on edge, like looking around me all the time. You know, and that's nice. I think that will be probably one of the harder things when we come back, transitioning back into that. But I mean,
do you have a set date? Because I know Joe's gone to 18 months. Is that?
Yeah, so that his contract's basically just how long his job's run for, but he can leave whenever he wants. Like it's just a normal notice period.
Are you just kind of playing it by ear, or do you have any like?
I think we've said like latest summer 27 we want to be back. I think moving is like made me appreciate the UK so much. Like I do really miss it, and we're definitely in the minority saying that, because I don't know many people out there that have any plans of coming back whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't.
But we absolutely like do. I want to be back here for like when Phoebe goes to school.
Yeah.
I just like miss having family, like, you know, we've got so many like nieces and stuff. It's just hard, and also we're renting out there, that's another thing, it's not ours, so then we want to do stuff to properties and we can't. So yeah, like it's been a fantastic experience, and like we're happy to stay there for a bit longer, but for us it never was forever. So yeah, we kind of planned for that and just kind of playing it by ear really.
Did you find it really tough when you first moved? Were you like,
oh god, I still do. Like, when I first moved, I honestly, no exaggeration, I couldn't FaceTime anyone back here for like weeks, because I was like, if I see them, I'll just cry. Like it was difficult, and it's the overwhelming thing of like.
How old was she when you moved? Sorry.
Just like, so she turned 1 in July, and I moved out there in September, so just over a year. And it's just like, luckily Joe went out before, so he had like all the house and stuff sorted, but it was just a shell. Like we had like a few basic things, but it was the overwhelm of like having to sort out a whole house, not even knowing where to do a food shop, you know, like I didn't know where to go for all that kind of stuff, not having any friends. You know, we moved, and then like I think I went there maybe like a Saturday. Joe was back at work on the Monday, so didn't have him around either. So yeah, we're stuck between wanting to FaceTime people, but also just like crying.
FaceTime has been one of my saving graces.
Absolutely.
When Aurora was 2 months, I moved an hour away from where I used to live. All my family live in Wales, and then my dad lives about just over an hour away. So I'm kind of in the same boat, obviously, but people can drive to me. It's not like a plane journey. But and even for people to visit you, that's an extortionate flight price, isn't it? At least mine's like 80 quid in the petrol, and then they could just
Absolutely,
come. But I found I FaceTime my mum pretty much every morning.
Yeah.
FaceTime my dad when Aurora has dinner, and that does make me feel like I have
You
got
have
some sort of company.
yeah.
Because otherwise, you know, I think motherhood is very isolating anyway.
Yeah.
And luckily for us, we've all had babies at the same time. And obviously, I got closer to Abigail further later on. But I think having people in the same boat as you, that you click with, that you get your friends with, makes everything so much easier. But I think the thought of me having Aurora and not having close friends in the same boat as me, I've already seen from people that are leading, which is good for them, that are leading completely different time of their life, how distant they are.
Yeah, I mean, all of my, like, that was probably another thing as well.
If they don't have babies, they don't understand.
I mean, I was lucky, my sister had a baby 3 weeks after me, so she was on maternity leave, but absolutely, like, none of my friends have kids. Like, so I was the only one. I didn't really make any, I didn't really put myself out there, to be quite honest, but I didn't make any friends really on maternity leave, so I kind of just thought I probably got more chance making mum friends and having like a bigger community, being somewhere where everyone's in the same position, than like, just being here. So I think that's, I was quite lonely here probably as well, so.
Yeah, it's not spoken about enough,
No.
is it? I guess because obviously your partner, he also works away a lot, so you are on your own a lot of the time, aren't you?
God, yeah. When I think Aurora was, he went back to work after 2 weeks, but he did work in the second week of paternity anyway. And then I think when she was about 5 weeks, he worked away for a week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So anyway, it was a week completely by myself.
Yeah.
I've done it. I'm used to it now.
I was struggling to get through the normal office hours that Joe was doing.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
I text him and I'm like, oh, when are you going to be home? Just to see that he's actually going to be home
Actually,
at like 5 o'clock.
yeah.
I find if you can't compartmentalise your day, so I think
You're
she's
working
woken up at 6,
yeah.
naps at 9, then I've got an hour and a bit.
Yeah.
Then lunchtime naps. You have to break it down.
Yeah.
For me, like especially with being by myself and not having someone that can just quickly pop round.
Yeah.
Because if my dad's going to pop round, it has to be planned.
It's an arrangement.
It has to be an arrangement. So I think if I break down my day and I think, oh right, okay, this, but then I do notice, although I'm used to it, when he's working away, sometimes it's for a week, sometimes it's for 2 weeks. I just.
Because you come
just
round
get
to
on
the
with it.
evening. That's the thing, you get to the evening, as soon as Dan walks through that door, it's like a relief for me.
Yeah.
Like someone else is here.
And
he does the night, he puts her to bed most nights because I think he knows I just need it. Especially now I'm back at work and stuff, I just need like a minute to just gather. Whereas you get to the evening and you know full well that no one's coming home.
And you've still got to
do it all the night. And she's not been a great sleeper, has she? She's only just started sleeping better since she's up all night with Aurora up all night.
It's a 24-hour shift.
Yeah, 24 hours on repeat. 24 hours, 24 hours, 24 hours. So I know what it's like when, you know, you got to just...
It's like the simple things, isn't it? Like you say, like someone just popping around or just being able to jump in the car 10 minutes to my mum or whatever.
Even getting the buggy out sometimes. Because I think, right, I don't want to go in the car because she was in the car for a long time. But then getting the buggy out, you've got to put them in the playpen and I've got to go outside, get the buggy out of the car, set the buggy up, go back, get her, get the bags. But you can't put the baby in the buggy before you've got the bags because someone could run off with your child.
There's so many steps.
You've got to get the bag on the buggy, then get the baby. And then when you get back, then I think, right, okay, my pram's full of shit I've just bought from the charity shop. We've got to get all of that out. Then get the baby out actually, because you can't go in and out your house with the baby in. So it's all these different
sometimes
things.
I'd be like, is it even worth me popping out? No, I'll just stay, and then I just end up
moved,
staying
I
at
didn't
home,
leave
and
the
then I'm
house.
lonely. It's like a vicious cycle.
When I first moved there, I did not leave for like 2 weeks, my house, because everything just seemed so overwhelming that I thought, oh. And then now I do think once she's had a morning nap, I get outside even if it's just for a couple of hours. So that probably helped you a lot.
I think structure is so important. Because we were talking about this the other day and I never really thought about it like this, but you said to me, we were talking about being a stay-at-home mum. And you said to me, like, Joe goes to work, and although, like, don't get me wrong, like, Frank and Joe, they both work, like, it is very hard, but you said to me, like, they have structure to their day. They wake up and they know,
have an idea of
although things can change in a day,
they
know how their day's going to go and such, whereas, like, we can wake up and, like, if they're in a bad mood.
It's the unknown, every day is the unknown, even, like, when you put them to bed, especially if you know they're going for, like, tricky spell, whatever it is, it's the unknown. Whereas if someone told me, right, today's going to be a disaster, I'll prepare myself for that. Whereas I don't know what mood she's going to wake up in.
And plus you can't
what
really
she's
be
going to
that
be like in
peed
the
off
car.
with them.
No, yeah, exactly.
If I think, right, okay, morning naps this time, lunchtime
Yeah.
naps this time, and I'm trying to put her down to sleep and she's booting off, I'm literally like,
Deep breath.
this is going to send me. This is the end.
Yeah.
This is the end. She's missed her nap by 10 minutes. I was used to it 10 minutes ago. But like, if you're at work and someone says, oh, that meeting that you were supposed to have at 12:30 is now at 12:40, you're like, oh, okay, a bit annoying.
Anyway,
But you can't really do that to a baby because
No.
you're just like, trying to rock her to sleep.
I just feel like you're so like unapologetic and like authentic in the fact that you know your worth and what you bring to the table in terms of how hard this is, like how hard it is full time raising a baby. Like we love them to bits, wouldn't change it for the world, but it's fucking hard.
Yeah, it's like I said it on my Instagram the other day. I was saying like when people, especially out there, because it's small talk, isn't it? It's like, oh, what do you do out here? I'm like, oh, I look after Phoebe. I'm a stay-at-home mum. Oh right. Oh, so you don't work, and like balls my blood. It's like I have a job actually. I don't have a lunch break. I'm working. I have to be on call 24 hours a day. Yeah, okay. At the weekends I have Joe there, but I'm not sitting back doing nothing because Joe's there. We're doing it together. You know, it's just so like undermining a lot of the time when you're having conversations with people.
It's so sad that comes from other mothers.
Yeah.
Like, come on, honey, you've done it.
Or
you've actually had not to do it by yourself ever, or you've had a tough time. Or did you have like the baby Virgin Mary and everything? Like, the work seems so much more difficult. Like, as a woman, you should know. If someone said to me, I'm a stay-at-home mum, I'd be like, put it there.
Wow, yeah.
I had my first shift the other day, like I explained on the last podcast that I've been looking for work, and I had a trial shift at a job, and like, don't get me wrong, it was in a bar, so I went and sat down at all, so it wasn't like a break as such, but it was just nice to have like adult company. Don't get me wrong, I know I see yous, but most of the time the girls are there, so it's nice to just have something a little bit separate, have like adult conversation. When it got a bit quiet, I sat down and I had like an uninterrupted cup of tea, a sausage roll, and stuff like that, and it is like, it's work, but at the same time, like, it is something for yourself. So it is, I personally, like, and I've worked, so like I've done both. I've worked and I've been a stay-at-home mum. I am telling you now, being a stay-at-home mum is harder than working. Like I've had multiple jobs. This is harder. So like, it's not to compare, and it's not to say like obviously the boys don't work hard, because like Frank is the hardest worker I know. Like 100%, you can't, like he works too hard, like way too hard. But like he even says himself, like, I don't think I could do this sort of thing. Like the level of like mental patience and like just, I don't even know what the right word is, but like just the strength.
I think that's like probably one of mine and Joe's. Like, I mean, we don't actually argue a lot, but when we do, it is when I was staying home and you go out to work, and I'm like, you wouldn't last 2 minutes, mate. You wouldn't last 2 weeks. You don't even know. You don't know what goes on here during the day. But it's like, oh wow, they're the provider. You know, they put a roof over your head. Okay, well, I'm putting clothes on his back. Because who's washing and ironing those? Who's keeping the house clean? Who's keeping our child alive? Like,
that's
like all those other jobs that I'm doing, so that he can go out and work.
This is what we were saying. Like, because you're not seen doing that, because you're not seen cleaning the washing, folding, putting it away. It goes unnoticed a lot of the time because it's not done in front of people's faces. It just gets not intentionally, but it can get underappreciated because you're not seen doing it. Whereas like when they're going out, you see them going out, you see them coming back, like you see when they're stressed and stuff like that. Whereas we've made sure like the house is kept in order, like all of this stuff, like you've made sure you've made sure there's food in the fridge, the baby's fed all day. Like half the time I forget to feed myself if I'm feeding my own. It's just like,
I can't be bothered to made 3 meals.
Once you've done it, you can't be exactly.
It's like when it comes to the end of the day, when me and my partner, we cook dinner together, but I sometimes I say I'm not doing the washing up. I've already done 3 loads of washing up already today. And then I've had to then make myself food as well. So the sink is constantly full. Do you know what I mean? Like when they go, what's for dinner? Whatever you want.
What are you care? And then it's I don't mind. Well, fine, decide what you want for dinner.
I've made enough decisions.
And I think even if you've got the bed, because my little girl, she is very, very easygoing in the day. She's very well behaved, right? But even if we're in that lounge, we've got the baby gate closed. Even if I wanted to take my eyes off of her for 10 minutes, you can't.
No,
because you don't know if they're going to fall. You don't know if they're going to clark their head on the bloody on the drawers. Do you know what I mean? So it's not even that you're constantly moving, but I find I say to my partner,
You're
I'm
constantly on the
sweating and I
ball,
haven't moved.
Yeah.
I'm dripping
Mental
sweat
energy.
and I
Yeah.
have not moved because I'm literally just like, right, okay, oh, she wants to stand up, okay, she wants to sit back down, oh, we're going to stand up again. And it's just the constant,
Yeah,
like,
There's no chill.
no, there's
There's
no
not a single bit of
chill.
chill.
No
That is
chill.
why I love Frozen and Moana.
Yeah.
That is the only time there's chill.
Yeah.
And it's not
Same
for the whole
thing,
film,
yeah.
but for maybe like half hour of the film, we will get together and sit and drink a cup of
Even
tea.
if it's
you
the
know,
first
biscuits.
20 minutes of
Yeah.
one on one dilation,
Yeah.
she's like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, quickly, I just go on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I think, what have I
Yeah,
done?
wasted, yeah.
Well, I've wasted
Because you
20
just-
minutes.
Yeah, but it gets round to an evening, like we've said it before, and I'm like, I love Dan to bits, but sometimes I don't even want to talk.
Yeah,
I
me and
just
Joe sit
feel
in
like
silence.
burnout.
Like, we're
Yeah.
together, but we're just sitting in silence.
Yeah, I look on Timo. I like adding things to my basket on Timo and Shein and then never
Never
ordering
checking
it.
it out,
Yeah,
yeah.
Because
so
I just
she-
look like, oh, I can do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And then when you go on there, because it knows what you've looked at, it shows me more things I'd like and it knows me.
It
Oh,
Yeah.
and it understands
Someone's
you.
listening.
I go on there and I'm like, do you know what? I would really like that too. Am I going to order it? No, but thank you for telling me about it.
It's so funny. On like the topic of like invisible jobs, we were saying, weren't we? Obviously, if I do ever have another child, I have said to Danny, like, I can't do both. I can't work and have, like,
Yeah.
I'm struggling
Yeah,
now. I've only
yeah,
just
yeah.
gone back to work. But in the morning, I don't think men realise that you get up, you like Dan goes to the gym in the morning and then goes to work. I know you're going to the gym, yeah, but you're doing it out of choice. No one's forcing you to go to the gym. Yes. I get up. The first thing I have to do is give her a bottle,
Yeah.
change her nappy, get her ready. Then I think, oh, actually, shit, let me get an outfit together that I can throw on. I never have time to do my makeup. I have to do it on the train. I'm then now in the morning, because I feel bad for my mum, I'm getting the train to my mum's to drop her off, then coming back here, then going to work in London.
You've already worked before you've gone to
Yeah,
work.
that's the whole day before the day's even started.
You don't
Yeah.
actually think about
No.
all of these steps.
I always say that.
to
Like,
get
I
to
don't.
work.
I get out the door, and especially on the day she has nursery, we're all kind of up and getting ready. But on the other days, it's like I'm having to put like the iPad on the bed so I can quickly have a shower.
Yeah.
And you're on edge because I'm showering and I'm like, can I hear something? Is she
Yeah.
falling over? Like you're always up, kind of just putting yourself second. You know, and
I
that's
don't shower in the morning anymore.
No, yeah.
I used to be a
I
2-shower a day girl, but that just ain't
Yeah.
living. I don't shower in the morning
Yeah.
anymore.
No. I think that's just part of it though. I think the man just does get to go up on in my shower and a shit and blah 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 blah. I literally roll up in bed and I'm just like,
That's what I'll
so I
be
go
like.
over to
Break
her and
myself up.
she's like, sometimes more often than not, bless her now, she kind of is beaming through. So when I do
Yeah.
get to her and she's so excited to
It's
see
nice,
me in the
yeah.
morning,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay then. But that is, I wake up and my whole purpose is really to look after her.
See, either wakes me up and she goes, stairs, we have no seconds to come to. Or blinds, she wants the blinds open
It's
instantly.
literally up and
Downstairs
awake,
or blinds
everyone's
open.
up, yeah.
That's the only two choices I have in the morning. Blinds open, downstairs, or she's gonna cry.
Yeah.
And
Joe
like,
does get up with, like, to be fair, Joe does, I'll give him his Joe gets up with her, like he'll bring her into the bed or whatever. So I am lucky, like he doesn't get up, but obviously most people's partners get up and out there,
Yeah.
up early so the baby's
before like,
open
the
up.
baby's even awake.
So yeah, that
Unless
is,
you have an hour or an hour,
Yeah.
then they're awake.
but,
What is this sleeping after the partner has left?
but yeah, no, he does get her up and bring her in, and
Yeah.
like, but
Oh.
probably because I've drilled into his head how tired I am or
Yeah.
whatever. Like some days he'll come home and I listen to myself and I'm like, he probably is just like shut up. But I'm like, oh today I did this, I did all the cleaning, I cleaned all the floors, but I feel like I'm doing it because I want to
You've
tell him
told him
what I've done today. Like
Yeah.
I know you might not walk in and be like, wow, how's the spot looks like? You must have been so busy today.
Yeah.
Because
They don't
I'm
notice
like,
these things.
so I want to make him notice. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, managed to get the ironing done today, did the cleaning, blah blah blah, did the food shopping, whatever. And I'm like, he probably doesn't care, but I feel like I'm doing it because I want him to know. Not that it makes me
I
feel like I don't do
think you're
anything.
doing
But
that
I
to
want a
actually
bit of-
remind
I
yourself
actually
as
want like a
well.
bit of
Because
like,
I think we put so much
did
pressure on
that.
ourselves. I think that's why, because I often feel the need to over-explain.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think that we attach our worth to these things in a
Yeah.
way like, like, especially with being a stay-at-home mum, like you feel like you have to prove that you're actually, like you say,
You've
because it's
done
not a
something.
job, you have to prove that you've done something productive, when really, even if you hadn't done it,
All you
if
do
just
is
looked
survive,
after
it's actually
Phoebe,
enough.
that is enough,
Yeah.
because you are raising a little human.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's the most important job, because
I
like,
think it's because they financially provide for you as well.
you feel like you have to.
You feel
You
indebted.
feel like you have to justify it, but really, you know, you both agreed to have a baby. You knew what that would entail. Someone has to give. I've given up my career and my progression in my career. They're not going to wait around for me for a year when I come back.
Yeah.
So because I've given that up and I'm now not going to be on a shit ton of money, you're going to have to help me out.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. But it's deemed as like, a lot of the time, I think it's changing now, but women that stay at home are just lazy. Like, that genuinely is how we're perceived as mums. I see it all the time online. I'm just a stay-at-home mum. I'm like, what? Like, how can you even? You obviously don't understand what women do day to day, then, or mums do, to ever say that.
Yeah.
Because going
Try
to work
telling
is
a
a
man
break.
to put their career just completely on
Yeah.
hold and their earnings and all this. You
Like,
know?
my job's been amazing, but I was in management before I left. Like, I could have progressed and got higher up in management and been on a really good paycheck. But they're not going to wait around for me for a year to then decide in what capacity I want to come back to work.
Yeah.
But that's part of it, and that's a sacrifice that we make.
Yeah.
So respect it.
Yeah.
That's all we ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Bit of
juggling
acknowledgement.
both, juggling both is like, fuck me, it's hard work.
Yeah.
But when I go up the city, it is a bit of a break.
Yeah.
And I feel guilty saying it. I actually enjoy
No, don't feel good.
just having a mental.
Don't
Yeah.
you, like, you need that.
I have
Need an office cleaner.
Oh, what, at the office?
Yeah.
I might do, yeah.
I'll come do it.
I
I
was
don't
going to say
have a
here. I was
babysitter.
going to say here. I would love a cleaner. Yeah.
It goes back to what we were saying about structure. Like, you have structure today. We were saying you get to read your book on the train on the way to work. Then get a lunch
That's
break.
lovely.
Like, you know how your day's going to go. It's just time to have like a deep
Probably feel like
breath.
your old self. Not that you. I'm not saying you miss your old self because you know motherhood's amazing, but you'd probably just feel like, oh, this is like what I used to feel like, kind of thing. Yeah.
Not
Finding
remembering
yourself
a
again.
bag or wondering if she's okay or
Yeah.
like, I didn't have to bring anything apart from my laptop, my phone, and
I think you was like, what do I do
It's
to myself?
fucking
I bet
great.
it really
So
puts things
strange,
into,
yeah.
I bet it really puts things into perspective. Because like on days where you would have had like stressful days at work, you're probably thinking, oh, this.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Nothing.
Yeah, it really,
Yeah.
No, but I think I'll perform better at work because I don't care.
Yeah,
as
you
much.
know nothing's that deep. Like you've got a child, you know what's important in life now. Like none of this is as important as that sort of thing. So.
But for anyone watching, if you are a stay-at-home mum, you've got the hardest job of them all. Don't
and
discredit
you're doing
yourself.
amazing.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us, because we're coming towards the end there, do you want to give us your biggest pro and your biggest con for moving abroad as a family?
Yeah, so I'd say biggest pros, like I said, the parenting I'm finding a lot easier. The safety of it, you know, I can relax basically.
Yeah.
And I'd say the biggest con for me has obviously got to be family and friends, like no familiar faces around. But yeah, that's probably
If someone watching is thinking of making the move, is considering it or interested in it, where would you start? What would you say is the best place to start with?
I'd say try and do like realistic researching, because you can type into Google how much do I need to earn to, you know, and everything is so specific, and I think that's really important. There's so much more to consider because, you know, you have to pay for schools, they're really expensive, houses, rent's expensive, all of the deposits, and like loads of little hidden bits that we didn't know and we thought we'd done some quite good research. You know, we've watched loads of videos on YouTube of like families that had moved, and you've just got to really appreciate that everyone's in such a different position. And yeah, number one tip, if you can get the guy to go up there first and set it all up, if you do have kids, do it, because you might struggle for a bit being here on your own, but trust me, that was a game changer for us. I think had we have turned up and had to stay in hotels and Airbnbs for weeks, months, who knows, which most people do, especially with young kids, I just think would have sent me over the edge and would have really got us off to a bad start. But having Joe been able to go out there like a couple of months before us and have our house at least set up made like the world of difference.
Yes.
So yeah, I'd say if you've got that kind of flexibility, absolutely do that, because it will make the transition a lot smoother for you, and most importantly your kids, which if they're older, I'm not having experienced it, but I would imagine it's harder with older kids who are more aware and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I want as well some tips from you about flying solo with children, because how many times have you done it now?
I think when I go back, it will be my 4th solo flight.
8-hour flight, by the
I
way.
think it's my 4th, yeah. Normally I come and then Joe ends up coming and takes me back, but he's not this time.
This is your first time going back on your own, isn't it?
First time going back to Dubai. I've always come to the UK and then Joe's flown back with me. My number 1 top tip would be, do not care what anyone else thinks. Honestly, like, I know that's sometimes easier said than done.
Yeah.
You've paid to be on that flight just like they have, and unfortunately if they're sitting next to you and your kid's like kicking off or whatever, that's unfortunate for them. Like, you know, there's nothing, kids are unpredictable, you know, touch wood, I've been pretty lucky. She's been okay on the flights, but you know, you've got every right to be there just like they have. So if people give you any looks, then just ignore them, because I know there's been moments where I just want to like rip someone's head off, or sometimes I'm like, come on, be a bit louder. But yeah, plenty of entertainment. Don't worry about screen time, because it's just basically survival mode. To be honest, it's survival mode. Like, iPad for however many hours you want, snacks upon snacks upon snacks, and yeah, just trying to relax about it. Like, you know, it is what it is. But I always just tell myself, once I'm on that flight and it's taken off, I actually can't get off. So whatever I need to face, it's going to be worth it for me at the end. Like, I'm either coming back here or I'm going back to Joe or whatever it is. Kids are unpredictable. Don't try and make them sleep. Like, you know, like, just go with the flow. Go with the flow. Don't care what people think, and accept help. You know, the amount of times I have to like prod someone next to me, like saying, "Can you get like my bag out?" Because I'm not tall enough and I have a kid. So accept help. Ask people for help, and just it's worth it. Hopefully, if you're going on a nice holiday or whatever. Yeah.
Thank you. So, can you let all of our followers know, like 100 followers, where to find you on social media, in case, because Emma puts up like loads of videos with different tips, and you've got a YouTube channel now as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
So do you want to share your Insta and YouTube, just in case anyone wants to check it out?
Instagram and TikTok is Life with the Rose Family. I think my tip that
we can put it in the comments as well. Don't worry.
They'll put it in the comments, because my YouTube's different to my Instagram.
I think you
Life
with the Roses.
No.
We'll put
Life
it in
with
the
the Rose
comments.
Family. Oh, I think one of them's Life with the Rose Family, one of them's Life with the Roses.
What we'll do, we'll tag you anyway in the Instagram and the TikTok clips. We'll tag you, and to be fair, we should even be able to tag you in the YouTube one. I don't know how YouTube works that much, but we should be able to tag you in the actual video. So
perfect.
So, anyone?
Thank you.
Anything else? We're all good.
Yeah, all good.
Thanks for coming. Bye.
Love it.
Smashed it, girl.
Love it.